Holy shit, we finally got it. Roman Reigns and CM Punk standing in the same ring, staring each other down, setting the stage for WrestleMania. And honestly, they didn't feel like a script. It didn't at all. It felt personal. But that wasn't even the weirdest part of the night. We have Bron Breakker absolutely losing his mind. We have the Vision taking over the entire show, and we have Paul Heyman playing 40 chess in the background. Is Heyman going crazy, or is he trying to set up for the weeks to come? This whole thing became a crazy fest, but this Raw wasn't about the wrestling matches. It was about it was about the story. And some of this stuff raises more questions than answers, so let's get to it. Welcome back to the T-Drop, where the brew is strong. There is no soft behavior. The road to WrestleMania has officially started. And usually, the Raw after a Rumble is the craziest show of the year. Why is this one crazy? Yeah and no. If you tune in looking for a 5-star classic in the ring, you probably took a massive L this week. There wasn't a ton of actual wrestling, but if you're here for the drama, the backstage politics, and trying to figure out who is screwing over who, this episode was stacked and right for you. We're going to talk about the entire show, from Gunther destroying Dragon Lee to the absolute chaos with the women's title, and of course, that massive main event segment. So let's start with the core issue. The show opened with pure manipulation. The show kicks off, and immediately we see the fallout from the Rumble, Bron Breakker in the ring, and he is not happy, and rightfully so. The guy got screwed, but watch how this plays out. We've got Adam Pearce out there trying to keep order, but then the Vision steps in, trying to calm him down, and this is where it gets interesting. You have Heyman even involved. You have Pearce looking like he's losing control of his own show. What is Heyman doing? He's playing the humble advocate, but we all know better. Breakker is angry and he's explosive, but he's being pointed like a weapon. You know Heyman, he's weaponizing everyone in his team. It feels like maybe it seems to me, but it feels like Breakker is just a pawn in a much bigger game between division and general management. At least that's what it seems because of all the back and forth we've seen in the past couple weeks between Heyman and Paul Pearce. Is Breakker too stupid to see maybe he's being used? Or does he just not care as long as he gets to smash people? Honestly, I don't think that's the case. Knowing WWE, it's just him. It's not even that deep. We're already analyzing too hard for the WWE world. Let's not go there. Anyway, regardless, it's compelling, but it makes you wonder who is actually running Monday Night Raw at this point, the way Paul Pearce is running stuff, because it definitely doesn't look like he's the one running it. LA Knight eventually shows up in this whole mess of a segment, then an attack from behind and blasted Logan Paul and Austin Theory with a chair. By the way, we need to take a minute and shout out to Logan Paul because he did a whole month of professional wrestling in his new contract. He did all the Monday night shows plus one SmackDown plus the Royal Rumble. He did a full month of being a wrestler. Now, did he compete in all the Raws? No, but it's obviously not expected. But he at least showed up. He was part of all the segments, so a little kudos to him. You get a little golf clap. Maybe my clap will get louder as the year passes. We're in February, so you're in your second month of as a professional full-time wrestler. Anyway, we move on. Knight escaped through the crowd before security and the Vision could swarm him. That was a smart segment, at least for LA Knight, because it escalated the Vision story without making LA Knight look foolish. But we go further. Before we go further, we got a quick recap in the show about the Rumble itself. You know, they're going to do the highlight clips of Roman winning, Liv Morgan winning. We have the fall of AJ Styles and his retirement. We have Sami Zayn losing to Drew McIntyre. Standard stuff with a WWE package. Just reminding us who the winners are and who the losers are from the Royal Rumble. But then we pivot to something different. We get Jovan Evans versus El Grande Americano. Now I'm going to call him El Tall Grande Americano, or the Venti. Should we call him Venti? Anyway, Grande Americano. The match leaned into the ridiculousness between these two because both the dynamic of Javon Evans and the different styles of the Grande Americano. This match full in ridiculousness, including the loaded mask tease. And then the original Grande Americano showed up to create a distraction. Evans hit the OG cutter and picked up the win. I'm going to call him a Grande Americano Original because original means original in Spanish. But whatever. The angle is basically their fun segment in Monday Night Raw is their cartoon type wrestling segment, but it is entertaining for type of segment. It gives a little lighter note after the heaviness of the previous segment. Evans benefited by getting a clean victory in this without killing the gimmick. So now look, I know some of you hate this goofy stuff out there. Some people are going to complain on Twitter. They're going to complain on Instagram, wherever you can go scream at the wall. But this is wrestling. They're going to scream, this is wrestling, not a comedy show. But honestly, I didn't hate this. It was entertaining. It was a palate cleanser, can we call it? Javon Evans, honestly, is an incredible athletic guy. The guy can go. El Grande Americano is a ridiculous gimmick, but it works for the lower card. It's not trying to be the main event. It's just fun. Sometimes you need a little bit of fun before things get dark. And trust me, things got dark immediately after this because Gunther showing up again. And obviously, you know what's about to happen. So now we're going to go straight to the ring general. Gunther comes out using the AJ Styles intro, including the little bounce, and the crowd hated him. He literally, the music played. People, for some reason, even though AJ was very explicit, if he lost, he's retired. They heard AJ Styles music and thought he changed his mind. They're like, "Oh, WWE fooled us." No, I already knew this wasn't happening. It's obviously Gunther. Gunther is a big troll. He's like he is the real life version of an online troll. For those that don't know what a real life online troll is, it's Gunther. There you go. Anyway, Gunther came out using, like I said, the AJ Styles intro, including the little bounce, and the crowd crazy. Gunther called himself the career killer, and rightfully so, because even WWE has it on their visuals that he is now the career killer, and acted like retiring AJ Styles made him untouchable. Gunther comes out, and he's on another level. He starts mocking AJ Styles, basically saying the guy is washed. And the way Gunther delivered these lines, he's not screaming. He's just talking like he's stating facts, the truth. It's quite good, quite chilling. Then we get Gunther being confronted by none other than Dragon Lee. Don't know why. Actually, I can tell you why. Because Dragon Lee and AJ Styles used to tag team together, and they won the tag belts together, and then they lost it a few months ago. Why isn't Dragon Lee teaming up with Penta? I don't know. But they teamed up, they got the belts, so it's him being a friend of AJ Styles confronting him. But my gosh, poor Dragon Lee. This eventually became a public execution. Gunther didn't just beat him after he got confronted by him, he dismantled Dragon Lee. He took a guy who was supposed to be a high-flying sensation and just swatted him out of the air. If it wasn't, it was a fat shit that he took on Dragon Lee's momentum. But it did exactly what it needed to do for Gunther, though. It established him as the real threat in Monday Night Raw. While everyone else is playing politics and doing goofy gimmicks, Gunther is just murdering people in the ring. You have to respect it. Now, Heyman and Pearce. We're continuing this power struggle between these two, even though Heyman has no power supposedly in Monday Night Raw, but apparently they're going to play that. We take a look what's happening backstage. We go back to the storyline between these two. Heyman and Pearce confront each other. Pearce is trying to assert authority, and Heyman is just like managing him. He's a little broing him at this point. It's incredible to watch at this point. Heyman uses words like they are legal documents because that's Heyman's style. He's trapping Pearce in corners, using the Vision as his shield. What do you think is the end game here? Is the Vision trying to push Pearce out? It feels like we're heading towards a struggle for control of Monday Night Raw, not just the wrestling storyline. And Heyman is right in the center of it, stirring the pot like he always does. It's frustrating for Pearce. I would be. But for us watching, it's great freaking TV at this point, at least for a few seconds. It adds these stakes to the show where it feels like the structure of Monday Night Raw is falling apart, but doesn't help the whole show. But it's a little entertaining moment. Now, because he dominated the Royal Rumble until unfortunately halfway through that men's rumble, and we will not talk about that anymore, we get Oba Femi showing his prowess. Originally, they advertised that the War Raiders were having a tag team match tonight or on Monday night. And apparently that wasn't the case. We continue the Oba Femi train. We continue seeing the scariest human being on the roster right now, Oba Femi. Holy crap. He goes against the War Raiders, and the War Raiders were confused because they thought they were having a tag match. And instead, it became a handicap match. The bell didn't even ring, to be honest. Now, the War Raiders are big dudes. Don't get me wrong. They are big and they are athletic, even for big guys. They're not small at all. And Oba Femi threw them around like, I don't know, like nothing. They threw them around like damn potato sacks. I think that's the best way to say it. They threw him around like nothing. He destroyed them. This wasn't a 50-50 contest. This was Oba Femi announcing that he is the future. Now, he also went to SmackDown this week, so I originally thought he was Monday Night Raw, but apparently we don't know yet which promotion he's going to be in, so we will probably find out in the coming weeks. His dominance is unreal. He has the aura, I feel like, of an early Brock Lesnar. Maybe that's what they're trying to do, but that's what it feels like. 2002 Brock Lesnar, he comes in, destroys anyone in his path to show his prowess. Even Gunther early level, kind of. He doesn't need to say much. He just hurts people. If they book this guy right, he's going to be a world champion within a year. No doubt. He is taking 0 L's right now, and he probably won't for a while. Now, we get a little variety hour on Monday Night Raw. We get a few visuals. This is where the show scattered a bit. We got a video package from Finn Bálor. It was moody. It was dark after the past couple weeks. It's teasing a dark side of Finn Bálor, and it's teasing also tension within Judgment Day. We all know it's coming. The cracks are there. Bálor is salty about something, and he's letting us know without saying it directly. Obviously, he lost against CM Punk a few weeks ago for the title, which was a great match, by the way. But there's more to this, and it's probably something that's going to escalate towards towards WrestleMania. But that was one in the variety hour. Then we get the Bellas returning. Okay, sure, why not? A little nostalgia pop. But then they announce that they're back. Nikki was already back. But now we get Brie back. And she confirmed it wasn't a one-night stint. She is fully back on WWE for now. And it's obvious what they're trying to go for. They're going to go for the one thing that they've never gotten, the Women's Tag Team Championships. And they've been known for their tag team ability, or at least that they did tag team matches. So they're going to go for it. So I guess this is a potential storyline, even though a few weeks ago, Nikki Bella was a full-blown ass heel against Stephanie Vaquer. And she was a full-blown ass heel, and now all of a sudden she turned face within a Royal Rumble match that we didn't even know she turned face, because as before the Royal Rumble, she was still a heel, but now through the Rumble, she became face. I guess when you have your sister with you, things lighten up. And you see the brighter side in the world, and you don't want to become a heel anymore. Interesting. Anyway, that was it. So we're obviously going to see them go for the women's tag team belts. So what does that mean? Are we going to actually get a 1-on-1 in WrestleMania? Maybe it'll be more than that. Maybe they'll put all the women they can in this tag match. Maybe they'll put them on a ladder. I don't think so, since the Bellas, I don't think, are able to do a ladder match right now. It's going to be an interesting thought. But let's move on. Even after that, we get a backstage segment between Alpha Academy and Bert Kreischer, a comedian. I guess he has a special on Monday Night Raw. Sorry, on Netflix. It was such a small segment, I don't even have a photo for it. So I'm just mentioning it so we can move on. Anyway, we move to more important things finally. We get back to matches. We get Reed and Penta going against each other. We get back to the violence. Bronson Reed versus Penta. This match was chaotic. And I mean that in a good freaking way. The finish was absolute bedlam. Bronson Reed wrestled Penta and tried to overwhelm him early. Penta fought back with speed, including a big dive. But interference from Austin Theory led to a referee bump. Reed hit the tsunami, but then there was no referee to count it. Reed reached out for a chair, and LA Knight ran in and hit the BFT onto his head towards the chair. Division chased LA Knight out of the arena, and Reed could not beat the 10 count. Unfortunately, he was still outside, which gave Penta a countout win. The finish protected Reed because he did not get pinned. It protected Penta because he survived the tsunami, and it kept LA Knight as the chaos engine driving division's story. It was quick. Anyway, Dominik introduced Liv Morgan as our 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner. And I swear to God, because if you see this image right now and you see the image of the gear she wears on SmackDown, it is very clear that Liv Morgan has she has very limited things that she can do in SmackDown versus Raw. I guess because you're on Netflix, you can wear this level of clothing, but on SmackDown, she actually wore more gear. So, Netflix, for all the men out there that are still thirsty, they are going to thank you. They're probably sending you letters as we speak. Anyway, Dominik introduced Liv Morgan, and Liv kissed him to celebrate. You know, the nose rub, really not really a kiss, but Liv called herself the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. And the arrogance fit the moment. Liv said she did not know who she would face at WrestleMania yet, and she would appear on SmackDown to find out. Liv then brought out Raquel Rodriguez, and the elephant in the room was obvious. Liv eliminated Raquel in the Rumble, and she wanted answers. Liv tried to smooth it over by saying that a win for Judgment Day is a win for everyone. Raquel played along though, but she told Liv she wanted her backstage during her title match because Raquel wanted to win the title on her own. That line mattered because it exploded insecurity, distrust, and the start of a potential split or maybe a future feud. Now, if you didn't notice, Raquel is wearing a big sexy shirt. She was literally trying to resonate her own Kevin Nash or Diesel look, which to me quickly resonated. Shoot, are they trying to do a Diesel and Shawn Michaels storyline for them too? And that's what I was thinking at the moment. And I was hoping just by seeing this, maybe Raquel was going to win tonight and get the belt. And we see a title match between them two, a la Diesel and Shawn. But anyway, she's good at it. She's so easy to hate right now, Liv Morgan, which means she's doing her job, obviously. So we move on to the street fight that was announced between Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. So we're talking about this title match, Stephanie Vaquer versus Raquel Rodriguez. They beat the hell out of each other. Kendo sticks, trash cans, the whole deal. It was violent for a modern era Raw show. But, and I have to say this, did it feel a little repetitive? We've been seeing a lot of street fights lately that follow almost the same formula, at least for Monday Night Raw. They work hard, don't get me wrong. Vaquer is a beast. Rodriguez is strong as hell. But there was something missing. Maybe it was the crowd energy in Philly, or maybe it's just burnout on hardcore matches on TV right now. It was good, but it wasn't memorable. It felt like they were trying to fill time before the main event, which was CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Vaquer retaining, I guess, made sense, and it kept the story of Morgan and Rodriguez becoming unstable. Now, you do see eventually they do get in, even though Liv said and Raquel told her to not get involved. She ended up getting involved, which messed her up, and then after the match, she attacked or messed with Stephanie, and you kind of get a feeling, okay, I may want for your title, but they are doing a little tease for this. Maybe we're gonna see it for this belt, maybe not. We'll see. Nash was also giving her some help recently, but I like the Diesel and HBK thing. Yes, could be. I don't mind it as long as look. when it comes to WrestleMania, as long as there's a good story going into it, I don't care what the match setup is, as long as it makes sense. But anyway, we move on, and I think I have it. Do I have it? I may not, but I can open it up. We get to Roman Reigns and CM Punk, but for some reason the image is not showing up. So give me one quick second and I'll pull it up. I don't know why it didn't load, but we will just live it right now. It is what it is. And hopefully we can make this work. Only literally like 4 more images, but it is what it is. There we go. Boom. See what happens when computers don't obey. Imagine when they take over. Made it really bad funny. It wasn't even funny. Anyway, let's continue. Roman Reigns, knowing him, he probably just shows up when he feels like it, and which he does. But once he shows up, the crowd immediately wakes up because Roman Reigns still feels like an event. Roman asked the fans who he should face at WrestleMania, and the crowd leaned towards CM Punk. Punk came out to a huge reaction, and immediately, before he even addresses Roman Reigns when he enters the ring, he goes towards the nearest camera and threatens Finn Balor, which annoyed Roman because Roman wanted control of his moment. He was there to do his moment, but CM Punk interrupted, and not only did he came to interrupt him, instead of addressing him, he first addresses Finn Balor, which what the hell? But it is what it is. That happens. Punk came out, like I said, to a huge reaction. Punk said the fans made their choice clear, and Punk implied Roman wanted the easy pick by choosing Drew McIntyre. Roman called Punk Phil to mock him, which is typical Seth Rollins too, and turned old wounds into insults. Punk fired back by questioning how many cousins it took Roman to beat him. And Roman responded by claiming his family is the reason Punk even had a place to return. Punk reframed it as legacy and said Roman followed in Punk's footsteps because Punk was champion for 34 days with Paul Heyman by his side. Punk argued that doing it longer does not mean him doing it better, and he challenged Roman to choose the harder road if he really wanted to prove he was the best. Basically saying, although you did your championship run for 1,000 or so X days, that doesn't mean crap, because at the end of the day, I made my title reign more legit. And I gotta say, he's a little true about that because he did defend his title championship more frequent than Roman did when he had his belts. So he has a point there, but Roman was able to throw back. I thought at that point, CM Punk had him, but Roman came back. Roman snapped back by accusing Punk of taking a 10-year vacation, and Roman claimed he approved Punk's return. Who do you think they had to go to before they even thought of bringing you back? It was me. Roman then hit the emotional core by saying Punk came back, stole his wise man, and tried to embarrass him, which what he's referring to is when he was at Survivor Series War Games match that they had together. He was behind him on their way walking either in or out of the ring. He was holding the championship belt behind Roman, mocking him. Little Zootopia comments even showed up. Roman said he was choosing Punk because he hated him, and he promised that Punk would acknowledge him at WrestleMania. And that was it. This segment worked because it felt personal, it felt real, and it made WrestleMania feel close instead of distant. So now we have a potential good story, but my issue is Roman is kind of part-time-ish. Is this the last time we're going to see these two confront each other until maybe either before or after Elimination Chamber? Because if that's the case, we know where this is leading to because we experienced it last time with John Cena. So was Raw perfect? No. The wrestling was light, the comedy was a hit or miss, but the storytelling, the Roman and Punk stuff, the Gunther dominance and the Oba Femi rise, that is the good stuff. That is why we watch. At least we get those little gems. Unfortunately, not the whole show was a gem. We have a long road to WrestleMania, and if this is how they're starting, it's going to be a wild ride. but it depends on how they work this CM Punk and Roman angle, given that Roman's part-time. So we will see how wild this ride's gonna get. So anyway, what do you think about this? And do you think the CM Punk Roman promo was fire? What do you think of Oba Femi showing up? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you on the next video.